Footy replay. For Chemist Warehouse. Spoil mum this Mother's Day with Delta by Delta Goodrum at Chemist Warehouse, the real house of fragrances.
McDonald, Tom, Oliver got hands to the footy hooker, wrench it out. Parachutes down the bench, snaps an unbelievably good goal.
Viney's there, he didn't get it. Now McGrath wrapped up, not the best handball. Jeffy Gallagher on this occasion, he's kicked a banana.
Watts gets on the end of that handball from 45. Jack Watts tugs it across. No, he hasn't.
Good catch.
It looks like it was heading right to left, but it held its line at the end.
20 around from the Bombers' goal. Coming through, Parachute looks dangerous, didn't get it on this occasion. Oh, good work. Orazio!
This quarter of SEN football for Supergroups, your number one Kubota construction dealer.
Quarter time here at Etihad. Big game for both sides. Not one for the time capsule at this stage. Melbourne 2-4-16. Essendon 2-2-14. Danny Frawley, Nick Del Santo for First Rate Car Loans. Head to firstratecarloans.com.au for your next car loan. What did you make of that, boys?
I saw two teams that wanted to move the ball really quickly, wanted to be really clean with their skills, and I just saw two teams that just could not execute either of those things walking into this game. I mentioned the Bombers, particularly early in that quarter. You could see them, they'd kick the ball, they'd mark it, they'd square up as quick as they could towards goal, and they were just trying to move the ball on. They were trying to slice through the opposition. As the game played out, and I'm talking within 5 minutes, they just were not hitting their targets. Even Zachy Merritt, who I consider one of the best kicks in the league, just overshot his kicks a few times. The Bombers going forward, just wasteful, whether it was a poor option. We spoke about Zaharakis going to the pocket, which is an interesting choice, or Big Joe Danaher backing himself in from 60. They just wasted a lot of opportunities. Get your thoughts in a moment, Spud. Let's get down to Brett Anderson for Totally Workwear. Get what you want and get back to your work.
Hey Andy, pretty ordinary game of footy, isn't it? That first quarter, it was a turnover fest. Look, nothing to report on the injury front for either team. The only thing you look at is Dyson Heppel's got a big pad on the inside of his calf or his shin, so he must have brought that in from Anzac Day. But I haven't seen padding like that in a while in terms of in the area that it is. Marty Gleeson too, he's got the shoulder padding on. He looks like an American footballer out there with the amount of padding that's on his taped shoulders. But outside of that, no real issues, nothing for Melbourne so far, which is a good result after all the injuries they had last week.
Good on you, mate, for First Rate Car Loans, Danny Frawley. What did you make of that opening quarter, Spud?
I thought the Bombers spent far too much time on looking at Melbourne's strength, their half-back line. You've got Cale Hooker and Danaher, who dominated on Tuesday, yet they've only gone to them once with their 11 entries. They haven't taken a mark, so they're trying to make sure Hunt, Hibbert, Melcham, Vince and all these guys defend their direct opponent, but they're turning the ball over. So I'd be getting some yardage. You get that ball into a strong position about 30 metres out from goal, and Petrarca looked dangerous the last 5 minutes. He's starting to work into the game up the ground a bit. Just 6 disposals inside forward 50 from their 11 entries, Essendon, and they can't get their hands on the footy ox.
Well, let's see what they can do in the second quarter. Up they go. Peterson didn't really win the tap down. The ball landed fortuitously for the Bombers, and they kicked it forward. Hunt, Tipper, Woody. Well, good contest. Hunt got away from him though. Goes in short, finds Kennedy Harris. Could have been a free kick, wasn't. Could have been a mark, in fact. Goddard though picked it up. Good work. Got it up towards Joe Danaher, who was beaten by Frost easily. Hibbard on the left. Goes in short, finds Peterson, who got away from Bell Chambers. Zaharakis running by. Now Peterson goes in short, finds Watts, who's been busy, centre wing. Turns and goes and drives inside, attacking 50. Didn't wait for anything to happen. Hannon! Up he went and took a big mark.
Too easy.
And out in front of, I think it was Mitch Brown.
It was. Who
just got lost and was waiting for help. He looked for the body, and Hannon got around him, and he'll go back and have a shot from right on 50.
Well, fantastic grab.
It was a great grab. Yeah, you're right. It was a really good grab. But Mitch Brown, he played in front, and then he ran backwards. You had to get on the angle. You've got to play in the angles if you're playing in front. Just have an awareness of where your direct opponent is so you can body him with the shoulder.
Hannon comes in. Oh, he's kicked a sack of wheat. Oh, it's going to drift through. It's going to hit the post. That was that came off his knee.
He deserved that, unfortunately.
Gee, that was a bad
was lucky
kick.
to spin that ball.
That was awful.
There has been occasions where the ball is a little bit flat, Andy, and I'm not making any excuses, but you did call for a check of the ball.
Yeah. The kicking is so bad, Del. It's across the board.
2-5-17
the conditions. The conditions, mate.
14 the Bombers.
Terrible for footy, you would have thought. Bagley takes the mark from the ball back in for Essendon, still in defensive 50. Then
rain.
Just hoists it high, only goes about 35 metres. Hunt comes in with a big fist. McKenna at ground level looking for someone, hung under it for way too long. Jones cut in front of Heppel, got the footy to Oscar McDonald, to Tom McDonald. He goes across the ground and finds Tyson. Tyson's got a man on in the pocket here. It's Garland. He's drifted outside forward 50. So in between half forward and the forward pocket, he's 55 out.
Quicker getting the numbers back, the Bombers.
He goes inboard with a sharp little ball into Petrarca, who led close to the boundary line and takes the mark.
He looks better up the ground. They started him deep and he's starting to get
Talking
on
about Jeffy or Petrarca?
Jeffy and Petrarca, both. I think they were keen for him to stay deep, but the ball wasn't getting down there. I just think they've allowed a bit more freedom up the ground and they look more dangerous.
Well, he's a beautiful kick of the footy, this young fella. He's well within his range. It's a tough kick, only about 5 metres in from the boundary line. On the better side for a right footer, he comes in. It looks pretty good off the boot. It's a magnificent kick.
Good kick.
He's top
Great
shelf.
kick.
He's top shelf, Petrarca. Going to be a great player for a long time for this footy club. And he kicks his first. And Melbourne get their third on the board. 3-5-23 Essendon, 2-2-14 SEN. Jack Link's Jerky scoreboard. Jack Link's beef jerky. Feed your wild side.
That was a fantastic finish. I like the way that he actually got the ball there, Spud. He was right up against the boundary line. He almost snuck through the zoning players from the Bombers. And one of my favourite things in football is actually to watch Brendan Goddard work out whose fault that was. He was the one standing next to Petrarca to start with, and he pointed his finger 3 times, said, you cover him, you cover him. No one covered him, so Brendan has to walk up to the mark, puts their hands in the air, and then just turns around and just gives that look saying, that was not my fault. Not my fault, but I'm going to stand here anyway.
I still reckon he would be a great goalkeeper in soccer. Brendan Goddard.
Because they're always
just blaming everybody else. And it's not being disrespectful because he's a fine footballer, but he does point a fair bit. The Bombers now have got it through Watson, who retreats, goes back to his mate and Hurley. Hurley's got to go on the left, got to hit the target, finds Collier, centre wing. Collier looks up, just waiting for somebody to appear. He's going to be asked to go now. Hunt's going to hassle him. He goes inboard. He's going to be under pressure. Collier goes backwards. Hurley, the 1 mitt up, took it. Got players coming up at him. D is one of them. Goddard now, good mark. Half back here for the Bombers. He'll bring it inboard. It's a good kick. It's a very, very good kick. Now the Bombers are away through Howlett. He's got players on the outer side of the ground, and they're away now, the Bombers. They drive it inside, attacking 50. Danaher's got space. He's got plenty of space. And Joe Danaher got the kick off D and took a ripper, Spud.
Beautifully called, Ox. He just lost Frost, and really good forward movement. It was the work he did before his teammate kicked the ball. He led up, then he led back. Frost went to find the body, and then he did the old double deuce at the ball again. So you can just see on the Chemist Warehouse replay screen, really good forward craft there.
Joey Danaher comes in, 35 out. He's hooked it. He's hooked it for a left footer, and he's slotted it straight through the middle of the points. And he hangs his head. It's probably more about the mustache.
He did put... Sorry, Hawks.
I was just going to say the Bombers 2-3-15 and Melbourne 3-5-23.
But he did put the 2 hands on it and slung him out of the contest.
Do you think he was allowed to do that because Frost wasn't looking at the football?
Yeah.
It looked like he did the work early. Frost was desperate trying to find body. Danaher was at least facing the footy, so I think he had the right to at least get him out of the way a little bit.
Yeah, it's a good kick.
Okay, Vince comes inboard to Jones, still in defensive 50 for the D's. 2-3-3-5. Essendon trailing early stages of the second quarter. Jones goes up towards centre wing. Pedersen just hipped out of the way too easily by McKenna, who used the hit.
But there's lucky no Gawn, no Spencer. There's no long kick down the line, is there, for these at the moment?
Free kick for interference. Pedersen goes to half forward. Right to the numbers. Hurley, who came from forward deep, just kept his eyes on the footy, read it better than any other in the area and took a very good mark.
Tommy McDonald's actually trying to drift forward to give them a marking option as well.
Goes towards centre wing, looking for Gleeson, but had too much on it for him, and the ball goes out of bounds in front of the interchange gates.
Neither team wants to kick the ball long. We're watching a game of two smaller sides thinking, no, we're going to maintain possession. We don't want to go long down the line. We don't have a big target. If anything, you'd love to see big Tommy Bellchambers take hold of this and take those big grabs.
Tom McDonald's loose. Maybe Goodwin looks at him down, after half time it doesn't work to put him forward.
Bellchambers farmed it towards Gleeson from the throw, and it was clever ruck work. The ball just didn't have enough on it. There are a chance here, the Bombers, however, to come backward via Hurley. Chain of handballs ended with him. Goddard, clever use. McKenna, outside, good peripheral vision in the middle of the ground. Zaharakis finds the footy. He's got a couple running for him. He finds them. D's one of them getting forward. Pokes it to the top of the square.
Joe.
Surely he's interfered.
He hasn't come to play at the minute, Joe. He just wants to do the brilliant thing. He just led far too early then, just put a saddle on him.
You know what? That was atrocious, that effort.
Schoolyard
We'll
stuff.
come back to that in a moment, though, because the Bombers have got a heap of pressure on. They're done really well here because McKenna's now got it. He gets it out to Joey Danaher and misses.
Through behind.
Straight through the middle of the points again.
But can I ask you, is this something that Danaher's done in the past where he's had a really good performance and then maybe tries to bite off more than he can chew? Is this a common trend?
Yeah, I would. It is a common trend. If it was John Moore's fault, just send the runner out, mate. Just basic fundamentals today. You're trying to do everything extremely brilliantly, but just play within yourself. He's trying to do the spectacular.
Just compete. Just create a contest.
Just give us a contest and bring your small forwards into it.
Short balls inside defensive 50 from Melbourne. Lewis got it to Hibbert. Hibbert eventually drove it out of that defensive area. Hannon read it off hands, hacks it high up towards half forward, but
He'll
the
have a
Bombers
field
got
day.
the numbers. Hurley coming into the game now, isn't he?
He is.
3-5-23 Melbourne, 2-4-16
12
the
touches,
Bombers.
Hurley, up to 12 touches.
Big switch to Zach Merritt, who drops it. Hunt closes in as he does. Goddard, clean hands. Defensive side, centre square. Again tries to switch and hit up the target. Zaharakis had too many Melbourne players around him. No one can take the footy though. Back in on it. Zaharakis pokes it over. His ball use today has been really poor.
If this continues...
No, what's happening is most scores in AFL are scored from turnovers.
Oh, this is even...
But they turn over, but then on the turnover, Del, they then turn
They're
it
giving
over.
it back, you're right.
So it's frustrating for both teams. I bet you both coaches are grinding their teeth at the minute.
So Melksham to Hunt. Hunt up towards half forward. Hannon looks like he's got a nice pair of hands. Couldn't take the mark on that occasion. Oliver to Watts. Oliver goes in again. Off his own knee. Tells Tom McDonald to get out of the way. Gets it to Bug. Bug to Tyson. Tyson on that left. High, slow ball in towards 35 out. But there he is again. Michael Hurley coming into BOG type category at this
that's
stage.
his fourth intercept mark for the game. 7 in total.
Hurley goes out wide to Fantasia, long way up the ground, goes one way, goes the other. He's actually just balked himself. Good work, gave it out to Bagley now on centre wing. He brings it inboard to Zaharakis. Let's see if he can hit the target on this occasion.
I think it's time
Zaharakis brings it in. Oh, he's missed it again. He's turned it over in the middle of the ground.
They've got no
Dallas now
forwards.
got it for the D's. 3 on 4 and can't miss the target. This is officially a crap game of football. Another turnover. There's another one for the Bombers. The D's get it back, Andy. You take it.
I can't believe what we're saying.
Another turnover! Another one!
Bugs
Listen to the crowd at the minute.
He's missed 2 teammates from 25 metres. Watson goes short. It's hard to watch at the moment.
The D's have turned the ball over 25 times now. The Bombers up to 2 behinds as a result of those 25 turnovers.
Those numbers are staggering, Del. This quarter for super groups, it's not a super quarter. Goes up towards a good mark from McDonald, Tip and Woody.
Where's he going though?
I know it's just an instinctive handball to Heppel that set him under all sorts of pressure. Ball off hands from the smother, goes out of bounds, 85 out from their goal.
Well, have a look at Hurley. Now, Tom McDonald hasn't got anyone to play on, and I know he loves playing in defence, but at some stage, whether it's Frost or Oscar McDonald, we've got to go and engage Michael Hurley. He's going to be BOG at this rate.
Second quarter for super groups. It comes out to Zach Merritt. Just hacks a mongrel ball to about 20 metres out from goal. Fantasia had a quick look at it. Chance, Demons, now Hibbert to Oscar McDonald, back to Jaden Hunt. Getting his hands on the footy a lot. Takes a little too much time and then just hacks it high down the line. Petrarca, McGrath, off hands, boundary line looming, and it's out of bounds. Boy, oh boy, this quarter, as I said, for super groups, your number one Kubota construction dealer on the SEN Jack Link's Jerky scoreboard. Jack Link's beef jerky, feed your wild side. 3-5-23 Melbourne, 2-4-16 the Bombers.
I think we need to give some of the players some beef jerky at half time. They need something. Ball's thrown back in. Heppel didn't have it. Could have been taken without it. Goes back to Oliver from Jones. Not a great handball to Jones again. Straight over, deliberate.
Yep.
And
what was he thinking then?
He looks up and he's got Kennedy Harris on Hurley.
Well, Heppel brings it in. Danaher!
He's still got
It was a quick
goal.
kick. It was a mongrel. And he got it inside quickly. And Nathan Jones will be ruining the point that he actually just went deliberately for the crowd.
Well, Nathan Jones coming off now. If I was his coach, I'd say 2 things. You make a mistake. That's okay. We all make mistakes. It was deliberate. You cop that. But when you do, can you please man the mark? The only way Dyson Heppel was able to get that ball in quickly,
He had his back to
he had his back turned. He was too busy speaking to the umpire about
Danaher's
it.
kicked 3 points. What's he got on this occasion? Oh, he took it again. He's got the hooks. And make that 4 behinds.
He continually misses to the right.
Yep, he's hooking everything.
I'd love to know his stats of missing shots at goal from that arc from the left to right.
He's not kicking through
It's a poor action. That was a poor action.
It was.
Jack Link's jerky, scoreboard 2-5, 17 Essendon, 3-5, 23. Bernie Vince has kicked it in, and it's just a chronically bad turnover. Fantasia's taken the mark.
And the only thing for Melbourne here is that Razio might give it back to them somehow.
If you're listening at home, we sound negative, but we're only calling, as we say, some of the worst decisions to kick and kicking skills I've seen for a long time.
This might get smothered.
So Fantasia's already kicked one. He comes in. He's tugged it a little bit to the left, but it sneaks in. And thankfully somebody does something right. The Bombers draw level, 3-5, 23. Essendon, Melbourne, 3-5, 23 as well. 12.5 minutes gone. And this is a tough, tough game of footy. Danny Frawley and Nick Del Santo for first-rate car loans. Head to firstratecarloans.com.au for your next car loan.
Just having a look at the Chemist Warehouse replay screen. He's kicked that 20 metres, Bernie Vince. So I just cannot...
To 1 on 5.
I just can't believe it, Ox. He's a very, very good player, Bernie. He actually... We didn't bite too much off. It just wasn't there, the option. So it's just become a chronic game of turnovers at the moment.
Mistakes.
It's the side now that capitalises on the opposition's mistakes will win the game.
All right, Watts versus Danaher. That's right, in the ruck. You wouldn't have thought so. Two pretty handy footballers, and a free kick's going to be paid to the Bombers here, and it's Goddard.
Yeah, he's been good, Goddard. He's been hard at it.
Been very good, coming up for possession number 13.
I'm not sure if Jordan Lewis got him or what happened there. Might have been Oliver. He goes long now, drives inside, attacking kick. 50. Hooker's there, he'll fly. Ball hits the ground. Tip and Woody's there too. Look dangerous. D's with numbers though. Jaden Hunt's had plenty of it. How many? Thanks.
12. That was his 12th.
12. There we go. Up he goes again. Goddard didn't get it on this occasion, but McGrath did. Oh, it's bowled 4 of them. What's going to do? Orazio's there again. Oh, he's good, but Jack Watts is sitting in the hole. Got the handball back. They retreat and they need help. McDonald now goes in short and finds Jeffy Gartlett. He drops a sitter. Well, the mistakes are unbelievable as Hurley gives it back to Jeff and said, this is where you need to catch it on your chest. Well, the scores are level, 23 apiece. Shocking game of footy. Both teams very tired and more mistakes than we've ever seen in a half of footy.
And their inability to take advantage of the opposition turnovers is something that we've never seen before. There's a free kick from the contest as Merritt was running in towards goal. It goes to Tom McDonald, just kicks it out into space in front of Neville Jetta, who has to stop and wait for the footy. Green's got him.
Gee, that was a
free
kick.
He stayed in the chase, didn't he, Josh Green?
Yeah, he did. Neville knew he was there and he tried to do the old shimmy, but he was all over it, Green.
Short ball.
They got loose players everywhere, the Bombers.
D down the line to Collier. Collier marks about 60 out from goal.
Still got plenty of time to turn it over though, Ox.
He just kicks it high.
Oh, what about out of bounds on the floor?
Seriously. I said, I didn't realise he's going to do that.
He was trying to kick that 20 metres out to the hole in front of the hole.
This is some of the and even the supporters there.
Jordan Lewis was just going backwards and forgot there was a point post there. Lewis
they're going to the bar half for the supporters.
There is some serious stuff happening right now that I don't think I've ever seen. In fact,
we need Three Stooges.
We got corporate boxes beside us. They've actually turned their back on the play and they're just having a beer.
Can we get some Benny Hill music?
Or Three Stooges.
Well. Anyway, we've got to throw in 30 metres around.
Just watch the Chemist Warehouse replay of Jordan Lewis.
Oh, yeah.
Thought someone whacked him from behind. It was the point post.
He was going to punch.
He gave a half a duck.
He was going to throw one.
Yeah, he was.
Let's throw back in now.
Yeah, punches Jordan.
McDonald versus Danaher. Salem's in there too. Got it. Got the kick away. Good work there by the Bombers. That being Gleeson and took it over the boundary line. We'll have another throw in 60 around from the Bombers' goal.
Spud, we can make all the jokes we want, but this is an opportunity for some of the senior players, and I'm looking from the Bombers in particular, Goddard or Watson Hebbert will say, hey, let's just calm down. Let's just use the ball when we get it. We don't have to go 1,000 miles an hour.
Bug got it. Got it out to Lewis. Now Bug got it back again. They'll clear it over the top. The player coming up at the footy was Melksham. Went to go. Jake Melksham has made more mistakes in this game than I think I've seen him. Actually, he's made a lot of mistakes all year. The Bombers now have got it. They move it and they turn and away they go. Howlett, up they go. Can't take it on this occasion. Hooker. Tip and Woody at ground level. He gets around one. He shakes. He got it back to Hooker. Tip and Woody's got it back. He's done 3 U-turns. Not quite sure what he's doing. And Jordan Lewis just tapped it through. And one behind. They hit the lead The Bombers 3-6-24, D's 3-5-23. That's on the SEN Jack Links jerky scoreboard, and we've got a lot of jerkies out there at the moment.
One of these teams might, well, they might both, but one of them might play finals footy this year.
Well, yeah, definitely. It's a game. You're right though, Dal. It's up in the mind now. It's above the shoulders. The players need to.
So
the subconscious, get rid of the 4 or 5 go break. You're here to play a game of AFL
Is
footy.
that on the full even if you play on?
No one touched it.
No one
so
touched
from
it.
the
He didn't play on.
But even if you play on
No, he
from the
didn't play
kick-in?
on. I don't think he played on, did he?
Did he?
I don't think he did. McGrath kicks it to about 25 out. Pack flies. That's on the second bite. A pretty good mark taken by Tom McDonald. I don't think he played on.
Yeah, if he didn't play on, it's a free kick.
Just cleared the pack and no one touched it. And that's how bad they're going. 6 blokes flew and not one of them got a finger to it. McDonald plays on. He doesn't mind doing that, runs himself into all sorts of trouble. Vince, there's hearts in mouths when Bernie's got the ball on the last line in his hand. He gets it to Hibbert. Hibbert, that's a better looking kick. Finds Jack Watts still in defensive.
He'll make a good
D's.
decision. He won't stuff it up.
Dom Tyson provides something. Takes the mark in front of Watson. How's Jobe going, do you reckon?
Struggling.
Yeah, he started on the bench, which suggests he's a little bit fatigued.
Just gives it back to Watts. Watts missed Neil Bullen with a 30-metre shorty that he would normally hit right on the monogram, and it's a very big monogram on the front of the Melbourne jumper today. You can't miss it.
Played a fair bit forward too, Jobe.
Just had the 7 touches.
Down the line, but again, there was no one there for the Bombers. Melksham takes the mark, comes inboard to Tom McDonald, looks to switch. He's got a couple on. His brother Oscar's one of those. Bernie Vince further afield as is Bug. Takes the footy on the half volley, cuts in through a couple of would-be tacklers. Runs through the logo now, centre wing. Goes in towards full forward. The kick's dropping short. Terrific defensive mark from Bagley, who copped one for his corner.
Really
Terrific.
good grab.
So Glenn Cameron group marking, they contend with that.
Yeah, the intercept marking from Essendon is really frustrating Melbourne at the minute.
Bagley comes out to Gleeson for the Bombers. Zaharakis provides a lead. Danaher does now too. Heppel's got a bit of space. Goes back to McGrath. The number 1 draft pick has been excellent since making his debut in round 1. Andrew McGrath, long up the line. He just got the kick away in time. Tip and Woody's going to fly. Not on this occasion. Heppel, though, trapped it well. Jaden Hunt chases, but he can turn most people inside out. Heppel, he's got that really good sidestep. Oh, he went to go. 50. All right. He hadn't called play on.
Yes.
He stood up. He went off his mark. He'd gone, but the umpire hadn't called play on.
He was very lucky. He's forgot to screw his brain on today, Joe Danaher.
As we watch it on the Chemist Warehouse replay, he'd taken 2 steps towards the corridor.
No,
Frost was on the mark. Was he within arm's reach? But you are right. You have to wait the umpire to call it. So I don't know whose fault that is. The umpire needs to be a little bit quicker.
Overland's got to be quicker to get the plea to the mouth.
Simon and Joey drove here together.
Going for his first goal, he's just registered 4 behinds to this
kicked
point.
4 behinds. He's
Kick
kicked everything to the right, so he's hooked everything as a left footer.
Yes or no?
Oh, he'll slot this.
He'll slot this, but he's got to
Straight
aim at
through
left
the middle.
goalpost, unfortunately.
Big Joey Danaher. Confidence isn't great, and he sprayed it to the left.
At least he missed to the left.
Yeah,
Are you happy with that, Bud?
kick.
No, I am. Because if it had missed to the right,
No,
I would have jumped out of the box.
A coach once said to me, if you're missing one side, you can easily fix it. If you're missing both sides, you're in big trouble.
That's like a goal.
That's like my golf swings at the
Well,
moment.
they've doubled their lead. The Bombers now lead by 2 points, 3-7-25. The D's 3-5-23.
Surprisingly, Bernie Vince no longer kicking the footy in for Melbourne. Hibbert's got that responsibility to himself this occasion. Goes to the outer side of the ground, clears the pack. McNeese in front of Neil Bullen, off hands, out of bounds. In front of centre wing, outer side of the ground, in front of a pretty good crowd here at Etihad Stadium. 3-7-25, the Bombers 3-5-23 Melbourne.
It'll want to get a little bit better or they'll start walking out.
This quarter for Supergroups, your number 1 Kubota construction dealer. Throw in Pedersen, Danaher, Howlett gets it at ground level, hooks around, good smother from Jones. Certainly stayed in the contest a bit longer on that occasion. Did the skipper and off hands, out of bounds. We'll have another throw in.
It's really hard to see how Melbourne are going to score the way the game's being played at the moment. They've got no forward options whatsoever, and as soon as it goes in high, that's getting chopped off really easily. They've got to change something up.
Yeah, they've got to run it, but then they can't hit the targets. They've got a few issues at the moment, the D's. Viney wrapped up in the tackle, good tackle too by Zaharakis, and we'll have a ball up.
Well, the Dons have had 12 inside 50s for 1 goal 5 this quarter. To Melbourne, 4 inside 50s for 1 goal 1.
Okay, well, they got a 50% strike rate. They're scoring. They just can't get it in there, though. Oh, Lewis, Tippin Woody picked his pocket. He got it inside 50. Up he goes towards up towards Hooker. Didn't get it on this occasion. Frost, he didn't have it. Green got it, though. Good work. Now Frost tackles Green. Stacks on the mill and...
Green got, we'll have a look at the replay. He got Hooker's knee, all 102 kilograms of it.
He's got to get out of the way.
Right in the back of his head.
He's copped his right whack.
Know your role.
Should have hooked both knees into him.
Hooker got it on this occasion. Now Melksham out of the air, got the kick away. Up they flew, the ball hit the ground. Jay Kennedy Harris has got it for the D's. Goes out long. Now Petrarca's going to find a bit of space. He needs a bounce. Good tap. Gave it to Watts. They bring it inside 50. Watts has a shot at goal. The umpire's moving to his right. And he had to because it went through for a behind. That's their first opportunity of scoring in a long time. Melbourne 3-6-24. They trail the Bombers 3-7-25. That's on the SEN Jack Links scoreboard.
Hold on to your hats, Bombers supporters. Dave Zaharakis has got it.
Oh, I'd love to know how many times he's turned it over.
He goes down the line to McDonald.
Well done, David.
It's his best kick of the match. It's been some...
Tippin Woody's been very good.
He's lively. I mean,
he's trying to get something going for the Bombers, isn't he?
He comes back towards the goal square defensive, and Hurley takes the mark.
Got a good zone on here, Melbourne.
So Hurley looks and waits for something to present. He goes long and strong down the line now. And that's a good grab. Hitting up was Hooker. Took the mark. Got it off to Collier. Off to McDonald, Tippin Woody. They've got Melbourne turned around here a little bit now. Howard marks. Going forward. They've got to keep going quickly. Comes inboard to Zach Merritt in front of Jones. Handballs onto McGrath. Cuts around the would-be tackler Kennedy Harris. Top of the square. Great looking ball. Over the top of Goddard. And through she goes.
No, he's touched it. Jaden Hunt's.
I thought he touched it. I don't know what BJ was doing.
So trying to mark it.
He was
trying to mark it is what BJ was doing.
Score review.
3 metres from the goal line.
Scores a goal. We're checking if it is touched.
Oh, he scored a goal.
So we'll have a look at the Chemist Warehouse
review
replay
underway.
Here. Thank you.
Oh, it's hard to say on that angle.
That's going to be
a goal, yeah, it is.
So Hunt flies.
Inconclusive.
You can't see.
No, you can't see it. Because he's gone the fish, you can't see any fingers.
Confirmed goal, I reckon we're going to find here.
If he had did it with the fingers, you can see a finger normally hit the footy hit the fingers, but he's clenched the fist, so it'll play a goal.
Goddard was fairly confident that Hunt had missed it, I reckon.
Yeah, the three Melbourne boys seem very confident because Hunt went to go pick up the ball.
BJ judged the flight of the ball well.
Someone else is going to make the call now.
Come on, boys.
This is far too long, guys.
Review completed. Confirm goal.
The crowd loved it.
Far too long.
They absolutely loved it. We'll make it a Chisholm game and goal today.
Yeah.
And McGrath kicks his first for the afternoon. The Bombers put it on the board. They deserve to be at least a couple in front of the way to play. 4-7-31. Essendon, Melbourne 3-6-24 this quarter for Super Groups.
Well, the two best players on the ground are Hurley and McGrath, both playing in the back half. Every time Melbourne go forward, they've just been thwarted by Hurley, and that the run and gun from McGrath for the first round draft pick, the Brighton grammarian, is a very good. Is that his first goal?
That's his first goal.
Is it? Well done. Yeah, a bit of an anti-climax for him, I suppose.
It was.
All right, back in the middle now. The D's trail by 7 points to the Bombers. Scrappy affair here. Bernie Vince now into the middle. Got it and drove it up inside, attacking 50. Up they go! Clayton Oliver! Big grab. He's going to get it over the top. He's got players running.
Well done,
And
Clayton.
one of them's Petrarca and Clayton Oliver. That might be just the little spark they need, boys.
How good was that? You know, he's marked the ball 40 out. He's thinking, I'll quickly get back, have a look. Petrarca's obviously called. That was a great play from
Around
Oliver.
the ground for McGregor Portables. No late changes. The Geelong Collingwood game. McGregor Portables off a Stranny flat or footy change room anywhere.
There's the run-up of Petrarca here.
Yeah.
He's gone back almost to the 50. He'll kick from 14 metres out.
I like the way he spins the ball.
Do you?
Yeah, that's his routine. He does it every time.
All right, and he slots it straight through the middle. And Petrarca looks the most dangerous of the Melbourne forwards. He's got his second. But it took a midfielder, it took two midfielders really to get involved with that. Bernie Vince got flicked up from the back line, and they bring the score back to 1 point. Essendon 4-7-31. The D's 4-6-30. This quarter for Super Groups. Spud Frawley and Nick Del Santo doing all the specials.
Well, one of the things you tell kids at any level, whether it be young boys or young girls, Spud, you say when you take a mark, always face the goals. Don't walk back with your back turned to it. Oliver, a perfect example. He probably had every right to go back there and say, I'm going to kick this from 40, 45. He took the mark, turned around straight away. Petrarca pushing back into the goal square. A much, much easier shot. And the way the skills are going, you need them as close to the goal line as you can get.
Danny Frawley, Nick Del Santo for first-rate car loans. Back into the middle. Watson. Ball wrenched out of his grasp. Kennedy Harris goes in hard. McGrath wraps him up. Heppel, Watson go in over the top with Bernie. Vince will have another ball up.
You can almost hear a pin drop in the stadium. It's the quietest crowd.
The mistakes have just quelled their enthusiasm for that contest, Ox.
Pedersen, Jordan Lewis just missed
He had an airy. He
actually had an airy.
That's a two-shot penalty.
Watson goes in, was held onto when he didn't have the footy, and he'll win the free kick. Joe Watson, defensive side, centre circles, Etihad Stadium. Good-looking ball in towards Bell Chambers on the second by takes the mark. Just a sloppy handball to Zach Merritt. He just handballs it straight to Cam Pedersen. You know there's funny things happen when Zach Merritt's doing that. The ball gets poked out in front of Clayton Oliver, waiting for it to come up to him. He took an eternity. Matt Day wraps him up. Olive just threw the footy away.
I thought he handballed it.
He clearly handballed that.
No, that's a bad decision.
Well, the umpire thought he didn't.
Oh, God. Last night, Rocket would be watching this and thought, oh, well.
There's another video that Melbourne will send to the umpiring department. They sent a couple of Oliver ones during the week.
It was a bad call by the umpy. It was a bit blindside. Probably took a bit of a guess. Bug to Jones. Jones on his left.
Good luck.
Towards Kennedy.
Hurley.
Harris is 3. Bombers 1. Demon. Hurley takes a clean Cameron Group mark of the day.
They've got to get Tom McDonald down there, Del. I know, or Oscar or Frost, because Hurley will win the game for Essendon.
Zaharakis this time gets it out wide, and the Bombers, they're going all right here to out to Fantasia. Now they get away, and the Bombers are running. Good work here to Howlett. They drive it inside, attacking 50. Joey! He's marked on the boundary line. Good side for a left footer, but he couldn't hit water if he fell out of the boat at the moment.
He'll go the sideways kick here. It'll suit him.
This will be the one he'll kick.
Yeah.
What's the mood like coming when the players are coming off at the moment, BA? It just seems very flat all round.
Yeah, frustrated, I would have thought. Joe Watson wasn't too happy with some structural things in the first quarter, and Brendan Goddard, as Dal would know, has been quite demonstrative at times at the boundary line.
No. Surprising. Brett Anderson for totally workwear. Comes always with his steel cap boots on. Joey Danaher comes in. And guess what, Spud? He hooked it.
6.
I think he's got a goal now. That's 6 behind.
6 behind.
And one out on the full, I reckon.
Essendon 4-8-32, Melbourne 4-6-30. What is the record for a number of points without getting a goal? Shocking decision against Clayton Oliver on the Chemist Warehouse.
Well, I think for a career, I think Jeddah from when he was at Sydney was
no, that wasn't. They were in different games, but in the one game.
Couldn't tell you.
Bombers a chance. He Goddard to Heppel as they turn it over at half forward, top of the square. Hooker was there. Ground level going to be good here. The D's. Jeddah flips it up. Salem. Ball cut off by Fantasia. It was out of bounds. The handball was to a man who was a metre and a half over the line.
The trouble with Danaher now, he'll be thinking twice about getting the ball in his hands near goal.
You know when he was going through the yips last year, you know what he did? He started kicking on the right.
Yeah, he did.
So ball in about 20 out from Essendon's goal. Hooker down to the front. Lewis, handball was sloppy to Bug. He couldn't take it with him. Ball just nudged towards the boundary line, and it goes out of bounds on the siren. It brings to an end.
Thank goodness.
A really, really sloppy opening half here at Etihad Stadium. A lot on the line. They're both coming off pretty short breaks, but that was tough going. Essendon 4-8-32, Melbourne 4-6-30. Quick thoughts before we get to the break, boys?
Look, it's Michael Hurley. It's a game of mistakes. Football is a game of mistakes. We've seen a hell of a lot by foot. I think one side, whoever gets a run on Dell's going to win. And I think they'll both go to a half-time break frustrated. But it's the senior players need to get around all the youngsters, say, boys, we need to lift.
I think both coaches will be in their box being positive, saying, okay, we're getting enough of the football. Let's just try and use it better. For mine, I reckon both coaches come out and said, let's just run and gun. On turnover, let's just attack through the corridor. Let's use each other. Let's use overlap. But as we mentioned previously, they just don't have the skill level to be able to execute that at the moment.
The thing you said there about turnovers, there's been 65
There's
turnovers.
enough of them.
So the players are that bloody tired. It's a horrible game of footy at the moment.
The one thing you can say about it is that it's tight. There's nothing in it at half-time. Coming up, the Kangan Institute half-time break. Kangan Institute, real education, real skills, real jobs. kangan.edu.au will get a breakdown of like clear some commitments. Come back, Nick Del Santo, Danny Frawley, to review what's been a really tight, tough to watch at times opening half here at Etihad Stadium.
Footy replay for Chemist Warehouse. Spoil Mum this Mother's Day with Luminous by Gina Liano at Chemist Warehouse, the real house of fragrances.
Zaharakis brings it in. Oh, he's missed it again. He's turned it over in the middle of the ground. 3 on 4 and can't miss a target.
I can't believe what we're
Another
saying.
turnover. Another one. Finds Jeffy Gartlett, who drops a sinner. Oh, he'll slot this.
He slot this.
Big Joey Danaher. Confidence isn't great, and he sprayed it to the left. Oh,
Bernie Vince has kicked it in, and it's just a chronically bad turnover. He comes in. He's tugged it a little bit to the left, but it sneaks in. And thankfully, somebody does something right.
On 11:16 SEN, the halftime break for Kangan Institute. Real education, real skills, real jobs. kangan.edu.au.
Well, the Kangan Institute halftime break. Kangan Institute, real education, real skills, real jobs, and kangan.ed.au. And most of these footballers need to go to Kangan because on that performance in the first half, there are so many turnovers. We'll get the numbers in a moment, but the amount of error that was happening on both sides was probably the highest we've seen of any game this year, and maybe any game in the last couple of years. In perfect conditions here at Etihad with the roof shut, good crowd in, the football has been way off target in all respects. Joe Danaher has kicked 6 behinds. That's right, 6 behinds. He pulled 5 of those to the right, being a left footer, and missed 1 to the left. Just when we thought he was going to slot that through. The margin is 2 points. Essendon 4-8-32, Melbourne 4-6-30. Danny Frawley has run his eyes over the stats in the halftime break, and Spud, it hasn't been nice from Essendon's perspective, and it hasn't been nice from Melbourne's perspective.
No, it hasn't, Ox. It's a game of back halves. It's as simple as that. If you're playing half back today, if you're not in the best, you never will be. Because that's where the ball's getting turned over. You're going to get easy possessions. No coincidence, Lewis and Hibbert have had 15 and 13 possessions for Melbourne. They're off the half-back line. And for Essendon, the 2 half-backs in Hurley and McGrath, they've had 16 and 14. So the leading possession getters are on the half-back line. Look, Hurley's the best player on the ground. He's taken 9 marks, 6 of those intercepts. So they've just... I know I've harped on the fact that Tom McDonald's not playing on hooker or... Joe Danaher, just flip him forward. You've got to engage Michael Hurley. He's got Kennedy Harris as an opponent. Now, Melbourne would even know that, you're not going to do much. And he's trying to lead, but Hooker just reads the play too well. Coaches at half-time, they'll be frustrated. They'll be telling the guys, look, we've got the cobwebs out now. We should be ready to go.
Lower the eyes.
Lower the eyes. Hooker, he's been non-existent. You think about what they've been in 27 times, Essendon. Can't remember him calling. He's had 4 touches. He's taken 1 mark. He looks all at sea. Mitch Brown's been ordinary down back. Look, it's hard to pick the 5 best players. The bottom 5 or 10 would be quite easy, but all the stats are even. The clearances, the tackles, but it's just a game of mistakes, and who can capitalise on those mistakes?
Who can make the least? Spud, we need to get the Tyre Power top 5. The Tyre Power's massive Easter sale catalogue is online now. You can go to tyrepower.com.au. So we'll get you to give us the top 5, and we might get Nick to do the bottom 5, and he loves doing the bottom 5. A new player out of the game, he's got a couple of scores to settle, and more than happy just to put some blokes into it. So your top 5, please.
Hurley on top, McGrath second top, Hibbert third, Lewis 4th, and Goddard 5th for mine.
Okay, there you go. There's the Tyre Power top 5, and in the pot, Tyre Power's bottom 5, Nick Del Santo. And I know you find this a very easy job to do.
I do. I enjoy it. I was actually going to do the bottom 30 today. That's sort of it was everybody outside of Spud's top 5. That's sort of where the game's at, unfortunately. I'm going to go for some unusual ones because I've had a little bit of the ball, but with the theme of poor skills, so keep that in mind when I read out your name. Bernard Vince, who I love. Bernard Vince gets a vote.
He's had 12 touches too.
He's been okay. He's been okay. I'm going to give Cam Pedersen one. He's only had the 6. I thought he started off really well. Would have liked to have seen him run around Big Tommy Bellchambers a little bit more, use the ball when he could. He's been poor. Tommy Bellchambers been poor. He's only had the one disposal. So he's had 1 handball. The game is difficult, but it's not that hard. You can get more than 1. Darcy Parish, a bit quiet. I thought he was fantastic last week. Had a great start. He's only had the 4. And I've got one more. I'm going to have to go with Zaharakis. And I don't like saying that because I think he's a fantastic kid. I would have thought a really good ball user. But when you butcher it like that, I need to see more from him. He's had 9 kicks, 9 touches in total. And I think he's had 2 or 3 clangers, direct clangers. So I'd like to see him do a little bit more.
Let's have a look at some of the Matchworks recruits of the year, connecting people to jobs, matchworks.com.au. For the Bombers, we've got Josh Green, Andy McGrath and Ben McNeese. For Melbourne, Jordan Lewis, Michael Hibbard and Mitch Hannon. Out of those players?
Only picking one?
Yep.
Andy McGrath.
He's been good, hasn't he?
He's clean. Yes, I reckon he had one little fumble where he let Jeffy Garlett into the game, but it was right in the pocket, and Jeffy made him pay, unfortunately. But he's clean as a whistle. He understands the game. He's not out of his depth. He can play on somebody. He bucks himself in to get enough of the footy. He is obviously a number 1 draft pick for a reason, because he's good. But he continues to show in the first 5 weeks of his career. If
you're sitting here and you are watching this game, are you saying that Melbourne are in front, or are you saying that Essendon in front, or do you think it is just an arm wrestle or a tug of war where no one's had any advantage?
We said it was going to be 50-50 at the start of the game, and we've got a 2-point margin. We didn't expect it to be this lower scoring and this poorer disposal. I'm still 50-50. It's just literally who can maybe tidy up a possession a little bit, who can score on these turnovers, because there are so many of them coming through, who can actually use the ball going forward, and then who just happens to be in front at the end of the game. It's as simple as that.
So let me ask you two, if you've seen the way the first half's played out, and they're both obviously playing to instruction, even though they're not executing the way the coaches would want. Do you, if you're in either of the boxes, decide to pull the pin and change it up a bit here? Or do you just try?
If I'm Melbourne, I am, because their forward line is not going to kick you to score.
It's dysfunctional.
So they need to be creative with that, and they were creative. They brought Clayton Oliver in, and they had instant success. So they need someone who's going to be able to compete. I would be locking down on Michael Hurley. So I'd be saying to whoever the tall is down there, even if you don't get the footy, bring the ball to ground. We are small, so we've got Jeff Garlett, we've got Christian Petrarca, we've got
Jay Kennedy Harris.
Kennedy Harris. We've got 4 or 5 small players. Get the ball to ground. Do not allow an uncontested mark inside your.
Or make Hurley play on somebody. Let's go down. Let's even up our numbers and let's make Hurley actually play on someone. If he can roll off and he can read the play, we'll cop that every now and then. But he's not playing on anybody at the moment. That's the other issue.
Loose man. So they need to tighten that up.
Is that easier said than done, Del? Like Essendon's, even though Danaher sprayed it all over the place, he could have kicked 3. He should have kicked 3 or 4 in the opening half of the game. At least Essendon at the moment has got some targets. Danaher, no matter what you make of his game, he's in the game. He's a presence in the game. Melbourne, on the other hand, hasn't had anybody inside forward 50.
That's a structural thing then.
That's
Andy.
right.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
That's a structural thing.
Do you want to change that now?
Yep, and you can do it instantly. You can do it during a quarter. And I mentioned during the call that you love your leaders to stand up, to actually get an understanding of the game of saying this is going way too quick. And sometimes we call it basketball internally. It's just going up and back, and nothing's actually coming of it. So let's slow the play down. But structurally, yes, when we're going forward as a Melbourne player, midfielder, who are we kicking it to? We've got nobody there. All I see is Hurley, and he stands out like a beacon, so you know where you don't want to kick it. Let's get even numbers in front of the ball. You can have it even. 4-on-4 can be even numbers if that's what you want.
A bit of news coming in from the Geelong Footy Club too, boys. Geelong have just re-signed Chris Scott until the end of 2019. So good news for the Cats, good news for Chris Scott, and just stabilises things that are happening down there.
So he'll put the feet up today then and just have a nice quiet day in the box, no doubt?
I think
Smoke the cherry a little bit?
I think he'd want to just show Geelong the same thing. I don't think Brad Scott's like that, or Chris Scott.
No,
I think both. No, I know you are. I think both the Scotts are about as competitive as 2 individuals as you'll come across.
There's no surprises there, are there?
No.
Nobody was expecting Chris Scott to be under any sort of pressure to hold his job.
No, but if they had been 4-on-1 again, only won 1 and lost 4, they wouldn't have re-signed him. Yeah. But he's obviously doing everything right. They're 5 and zip. They played some really good footy. It's handy when you got the side that he's got too. He's been able to recruit, and everything that Geelong do, they do it together, and they've done a great job in assembling good people.
It feels this day and age, no coach is ever safe though, Andy.
No,
I just feel like their names it's just a circle of whose turn it is to speak about them, whose team's out of form, which coach is under the pump, and then you have a 4 or 5 week block where things go really well, and you're like, okay, no, they're safe. I'm not using this example in regards to Chris Scott because they have been really good for a long time, but it's a rotation system about who's under the pump at the moment.
So halftime here at Etihad Stadium. In case you've just joined us, the Kangan Institute halftime break. Kangan Institute, real education, real skills, real jobs. Kangan.edu.au. The Bombers by 2 points in a scrappy affair. 4-8-32. Melbourne 4-6-30. Get a break out of the way. Come back with the second half here at Dockland.